This is the AMYET S8 Peak 3000 Watt dual motor odd electric bike. Just looking at it, what stands out to me right away is the rugged, almost motorcycle-inspired frame, the thick 20-inch fat tires, and that overall tough, versatile design. There's no mistaking that this is made for both commuting and adventure. When I first got my hands on the AMYET S8, I was honestly a little skeptical. I've tried a handful of e-bikes before, some good, some not so great. What caught my eye here was the promise of those dual 1000-watt motors with a total peak output of 3000 watts. That's a lot of power. Even if you're new to e-bikes, you'll notice the difference right away. Dual motor means you're getting all-wheel drive. Both the front and rear wheels are powered, which helps on trails, steep hills, or even just starting from a standstill at a busy intersection. As someone who likes to go off-road and deal with mixed terrain, I thought this could be a real benefit. From my experience actually riding the S8, I was surprised in a good way. I started out on some local trails, and the first thing I noticed was the acceleration. Even in single motor mode, you feel the bike shoot forward smoothly. Once you hit that dual motor button, the difference is immediate. It pulls harder, especially if you're going up a steep hill or through tougher surfaces like sand or grass. If you're new to fat tire e-bikes or haven't ridden a dual motor system yet, the sensation is wild. You can even feel a little bit of wheel spin up front if you lean back and gun it, which took me a few minutes to get used to. I want to talk about the battery too, since that's a big question with any e-bike. The AMYET S8 has a removable 48-volt 25Ah battery. For me, the convenience factor is huge. I can just take the battery inside my house or office to charge it and not worry as much about theft. The capacity is big enough to get you up to 75 miles on a single charge. At least, that's what's advertised. In my typical city-suburb trips and trail rides, I was getting around 60 to 65 miles, which is solid, especially considering all the stop and go plus plenty of throttle play. The battery is also IP54 waterproof, so light rain or splashes won't scare me off, though I wouldn't dunk it in water. Now, let's talk about stopping power. Hydraulic disc brakes are a real upgrade over regular mechanical brakes and make a big difference in wet weather or on steep downhill runs. The S8 has hydraulic brakes front and back, which really help my confidence on the trails. It's less hand fatigue, and the stopping is smooth, even if you squeeze hard. I actually rode through some muddy patches and puddles, and the brakes didn't get mushy or sketchy, which is a big plus. Suspension is another key feature. The S8 comes with a full suspension setup, front suspension fork, and a rear shock absorber. That means the ride is much smoother over bumps, rocks, and uneven ground. I felt the difference, especially when taking it off the pavement. You get less jarring in your arms and back, the bike stays planted, and the fat tires add another level of grip and comfort. For anyone new to e-bikes, full suspension just means there are shock absorbers up front and under the seat or frame somewhere in the back. If you're riding anywhere other than perfect city roads, it's worth having. Something I didn't expect to use much but ended up loving is the smart LCD display. It's big, bright, and easy to read. It shows you speed, battery life, how much pedal assist you have on, and total mileage. There's also a USB port to charge your phone, which I used more than once on longer rides. You also get big LED headlights and rear signal lights, which means I could ride after sunset without feeling invisible to cars. I want to quickly mention the 7-speed gear system. I know a lot of folks who are new to e-bikes get confused by having both gears and motors. Here's how I use it. I'll leave the bike in a higher gear and use pedal assist and throttle for most rides, but if the battery gets low or I'm climbing without boost, dropping to a lower gear makes things easier. Gears are handy and make the bike more versatile. Talking about ride comfort, the seat on the S8 is better than most e-bikes I've tried in this price range. It's long enough that you can slide back, and there are even passenger pegs if you want to give a friend a ride. I'm not the tallest person, I'm about 5'10", but there was still room. The handlebars are adjustable, which helps with getting your position right, but I did need to play around with the bar height at first to get it feeling natural. If you're coming from a regular bike, the twist throttle might feel a little strange at first compared to a thumb throttle, but it gets easy after a couple of rides. One thing I have to point out for people thinking about this as a commuter, or if you live in an apartment, the AMYET S8 is pretty heavy. The specs say close to 95 pounds, and I believe it. The fat tires, the big battery, sturdy frame, and both motors all add up. I found it manageable getting it into the back of my SUV and rolling it into my garage, but I wouldn't want to carry it up a bunch of stairs every day. But honestly, once you're riding, the weight disappears and the stability is a huge benefit. Assembly gave me a pause. I was worried it would be a big project, but since it comes mostly assembled, it's just a matter of adding pedals, the front wheel, handlebars, and getting everything torqued down. If you've ever put a regular bike together, you'll be fine. There are some good step-by-step videos online if you get stuck. Expect to spend about 30 to 45 minutes if you work carefully. This bike feels solid. The high-carbon steel frame gives peace of mind if you ride hard, and the overall quality is there in the details. The fenders are plastic but flexible, and they do a good job keeping mud and water off. I've taken it through puddles, and my feet stayed dry. If I'm honest, I did have some hesitations at first. The handlebars felt a bit high and wide for me, and the twist throttle was different from my other bikes. But after tweaking the handlebar height and just getting used to the grip, those issues faded. Now I find myself reaching for the S8 anytime I want a blend of speed, range, and that feeling you get just knowing you can take a shortcut over gravel or grass if you want. And I like that you get those little extras: headlights, taillights, even a spot for a license plate if you need it. In my opinion, the AMYET S8 Peak is perfect for anyone who wants their e-bike to do it all. City streets, rough trails, light snow or sand, even some light cargo hauling, thanks to the strong frame. It's not the lightest and you'll need to commit to finding charging spots if you use all that battery range, but for power and fun it delivers. From my experience, I'd recommend this for anyone who's tired of underpowered e-bikes or wants an all-wheel drive ride that can actually go off-road and come back in one piece. If you're on the shorter or lighter side, just know the weight takes some getting used to, but the stability is worth it. On the other hand, if you need something you can easily lift into a car or apartment, you might want to try before you buy. In conclusion, the AMYET S8 Peak offers a unique mix of strong power, big battery life, true all-terrain capability, and real everyday usability. It stands out because it simply works as hard as I need it to, and most of the features make a difference, especially if you ride in less than perfect conditions or just want to see what fat tire, dual motor e-biking is all about. I genuinely enjoy riding it, and I think a lot of riders will appreciate the balance of comfort and performance. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the AMYET S8 Peak 3000 Watt dual motor AWD electric bike.